In today's world, where the rapid pace of change is both exhilarating and overwhelming, a silent crisis is unfolding among younger generations. Jonathan Haidt wrote The Anxious Generation, which delves into the complex web of factors contributing to the surge in anxiety and mental health issues among today's youth. As a renowned social psychologist, Haidt brings his deep understanding of human behavior and societal trends to examine why so many young people are struggling with unprecedented levels of stress, depression, and anxiety. Haidt's research reveals that increased use of phones and social media is linked to higher rates of anxiety, depression, and attention issues among teenagers, while also acknowledging potential positive aspects like enhanced social connectivity and access to information. In this book, Haidt doesn't merely point fingers or assign blame. Instead, he provides a nuanced analysis of the interplay between technological advancements, cultural shifts, parenting practices, academic pressures, and economic uncertainties. By dissecting these elements, he paints a comprehensive picture of how our modern environment is shaping the mental health landscape for the new generation. Haidt's exploration is both a wake-up call and a guide, urging readers to understand the roots of this pervasive anxiety and to consider practical steps for creating a more supportive and resilient society. Whether you are a parent, educator, policymaker, or a young person navigating these challenges, The Anxious Generation offers valuable insights and a call to action to address the mental health crisis facing our youth. This book is not just about recognizing a problem, it's about collectively finding ways to foster a healthier, more connected, and more resilient generation. Haidt argues that the rise in anxiety and depression among young people is not merely an individual issue, but a generational phenomenon driven by broader social changes. The book identifies several key factors contributing to this anxious generation. First, social media and technology. Haidt highlights the impact of social media and the constant digital connectivity that have fundamentally altered how young people interact and perceive themselves. The pressures of maintaining an idealized online presence, coupled with cyberbullying and the fear of missing out, aka FOMO, contribute significantly to heightened anxiety levels. Next, overprotective parenting. The book examines how changes in parenting styles, particularly the trend towards overprotection and helicopter parenting, have deprived children of opportunities to develop resilience and cope with adversity. Haidt argues that a lack of unsupervised play and independence has stunted emotional growth and increased susceptibility to anxiety. Additionally, we have academic pressure. The relentless focus on academic achievement and the competitive nature of college admissions have created a high-stress environment for young people. Haidt discusses how the pursuit of perfection and the fear of failure contribute to mental health issues, with students often feeling overwhelmed by expectations. Next, cultural shifts. Haidt explores broader cultural changes, including shifts in societal values and the rise of identity politics, which have led to increased polarization and a sense of existential uncertainty. The emphasis on individualism and the erosion of community bonds have left many young people feeling isolated and unsupported. Lastly, economic uncertainty. The book also addresses the impact of economic instability and the precarious job market, which have exacerbated feelings of insecurity and anxiety among young people. The lack of clear career paths and the gig economy's unpredictability add to the stress experienced by this generation. While Haidt's book provides a thorough overview of the problems, some readers might wish for more specific, detailed solutions tailored to different contexts and communities, and that is what I would like to provide for you in this presentation, specifically from a behavioral and developmental perspective. Tech companies use tricks from behavior science to make their products more engaging and easy to use. They keep users hooked with unpredictable rewards like social media notifications and personalized experiences such as Netflix recommending shows you might like. They make things simple to use, like quick checkout in online stores, and add fun elements like fitness apps giving you badges for workouts. They also show what others are doing to influence your choices, help you form habits with reminders, and use free trials to get you to stick around. Immediate feedback in apps and easy access features like fingerprint logins all make you more likely to keep using their products. Social media platforms are designed to maximize user engagement, often leveraging behavioral principles such as the variable ratio schedule of reinforcement. This type of reinforcement schedule, where rewards are given after an unpredictable number of responses, is highly effective in maintaining and increasing behavior. It is the same idea applied to slot machines. You don't know exactly when a reward is coming, but you know at some point it will. Unpredictable rewards equal higher rates of behavior. Let's talk about the ways in which social media uses the principle of a variable ratio schedule of reinforcement, otherwise understood as unpredictable reinforcement. First, we have likes and comments. This leads to unpredictable rewards. Users do not receive likes or comments on a predictable basis. Sometimes a post gets a lot of engagement, other times it doesn't. This unpredictability keeps users coming back to check for new notifications. Additionally, the uncertainty about when the next like or comment will appear creates a sense of excitement and anticipation, making the experience more engaging. Notifications for new messages, friend requests, or activity updates do not follow a fixed schedule. They can arrive at any time, prompting users to frequently check their apps. The random nature of notifications ensures that users remain engaged with the platform throughout the day, never knowing when the next notification will come. The quality and relevance of content in a user's feed vary. Sometimes they find highly interesting or entertaining posts. Other times, the content is less engaging. This variability keeps users scrolling in search of the next interesting post. The infinite scroll feature leverages the variable ratio schedule by providing an endless stream of content, occasionally interspersed with highly engaging posts, which reinforces the scrolling behavior. The nature and quality of social interactions on social media are unpredictable. A user might have a meaningful conversation one day and receive a meme the next. This unpredictability keeps users engaged and coming back for more. Just like in gambling, where a win is unpredictable and therefore highly reinforcing, receiving likes or shares on social media acts as a reward. The unpredictable nature of these rewards makes them highly engaging. Features like Instagram stories or TikTok reels that present content in a quick, digestible format also use variable reinforcement by occasionally presenting highly engaging content. By employing variable ratio schedules of reinforcement, social media platforms can create highly engaging environments that keep users coming back for more, much like the mechanisms used in gambling to keep players hooked. This approach takes advantage of human psychology to maximize time spent on these platforms, driving higher engagement and ultimately revenue. The use of variable ratio schedules of reinforcement on social media can have significant impacts on the brain development of adolescents. Here are several ways this manifests. The unpredictable nature of rewards such as likes, comments, and notifications triggers the release of dopamine, a neurotransmitter associated with pleasure and reward. This can create a cycle of seeking these rewards, reinforcing the behavior. Over time, the brain may become more sensitive to the anticipation of rewards, making adolescents more likely to seek out these unpredictable social media interactions. Constant checking of social media can fragment attention and reduce the ability to focus on sustained tasks. This can impact academic performance and the ability to concentrate on activities that require prolonged mental effort. adolescents may develop habits of multitasking, frequently switching between social media and other activities, which can further degrade their ability to concentrate and perform deep work. The need to check social media frequently, especially before bed, can disrupt sleep patterns. Exposure to blue light from screens also inhibits melatonin production, making it harder to fall asleep. Inadequate sleep affects brain development, particularly in areas related to memory, learning, and emotional regulation. The variable nature of social media rewards can create anxiety and stress. Adolescents may feel pressure to maintain a certain online presence or receive validation through likes and comments. The reinforcement schedule can lead to addictive behaviors, where adolescents feel compelled to check social media constantly, impacting their mental health and daily functioning. Relying on social media for interaction can lead to more superficial relationships, as the platform encourages brief and frequent exchanges rather than deep, meaningful conversations. Excessive use of social media can reduce opportunities for face-to-face interactions, which are crucial for developing social skills and empathy. The frequent interruptions and fragmented attention from social media use can impair learning and the ability to process information deeply. Adolescents are still developing their prefrontal cortex, the brain region responsible for impulse control and decision-making. The variable reinforcement schedule can make it harder for them to resist the urge to check social media, affecting their impulse control development. Adolescents may become reliant on social media for validation, which can impact their self-esteem and sense of self-worth. This external validation can create a fragile sense of identity. The constant exposure to curated and often idealized portrayals of others' lives can lead to unhealthy comparisons and feelings of inadequacy, contributing to issues like low self-esteem and FOMO. The impacts of social media on adolescent brain development are multifaceted, influencing their cognitive, emotional, and social growth. It is important for parents, educators, and policymakers to be aware of these effects and to promote healthy social media habits among adolescents to mitigate potential negative consequences. So what do we do? In today's world, technology is not just a luxury but a necessity. It plays a pivotal role in education, communication, and entertainment. However, creating healthy habits around its use is crucial, especially for our children, whose developing brains are particularly susceptible to the impacts of screen time and social media. The key to fostering these habits lies in taking a nuanced approach to setting boundaries and expectations. Our children are keen observers and often mimic our behaviors. Therefore, the habits we model around technology use can significantly influence their own. Here are some ways to set a positive example. First, demonstrate mindful technology use by being present and engaged during family time. This means putting away devices during meals, conversations, and other shared activities. For example, at dinner, everyone places their phones in a basket to ensure uninterrupted family time. Next, emphasize the importance of a balanced lifestyle by engaging in a variety of activities that don't involve screens. This includes hobbies, physical activities, and social interactions. For example, parents can take up a hobby, sport, read books, or involve the family in outdoor activities like walking, hiking, or biking. Finally, model positive and respectful online behavior. Discuss the importance of kindness, privacy, and critical thinking when interacting online. For example, parents can share examples of positive social media interactions and discuss the consequences of negative behaviors like cyberbullying. Set boundaries and expectations. Healthy habits start with clear, consistent boundaries and expectations regarding screen use and social media. Set and enforce rules about when and how long devices can be used. Ensure these rules are appropriate for the child's age and needs. This will be unique to every family, and it's important to recognize that all families have different dynamics which can impact how they utilize technology. For example, some families may prefer no screens during meals or within an hour before bedtime and a daily screen time limit, while other families may bond over watching a show together during mealtime. Focus on the quality of screen time rather than just the quantity. Encourage educational and creative uses of technology over passive consumption. For example, promote the use of educational apps and creative projects like coding games or digital art rather than endless video watching or scrolling. Establish tech-free zones in the home to encourage face-to-face interactions and uninterrupted rest. For example, designate the dining room and bedrooms as tech-free zones to promote family bonding and better sleep hygiene. Create an environment where children feel comfortable discussing their online experiences. This helps them navigate the digital world safely and responsibly. We can do this by having regular conversations about what they are doing online, who they are interacting with, and how it makes them feel. For example, weekly family meetings to check in, discuss online experiences, share positive stories, and address any concerns. Additionally, we can teach children about digital literacy, including understanding online privacy, recognizing misinformation, and managing their digital footprint. For example, parents and children can take an online course together on internet safety and digital citizenship. Parents can develop their children's resilience and coping mechanisms by modeling and teaching effective coping skills meant to help manage stress and adversity. Parents can implement daily mindfulness exercises such as deep breathing or guided meditation. This is a skill that will benefit them for the rest of their lives. If that's not realistic for your family, something as basic as having a family mealtime can make a huge impact on connection and safety within the family unit. With busy after-school schedules, dinner time might not be realistic for all families as a time to gather together. Instead, families can have a designated together time over after-school snack. This is an opportunity to decompress and process the day before everyone heads off to their next activities. With busy after-school schedules, dinner time might not be realistic for all families as a time to gather together. Instead, families can have a designated together time over after-school snack. This is an opportunity to decompress and process the day before everyone heads off to their next activities. Encouraging regular physical activity and unstructured playtime helps children release stress and develop resilience. Examples may include participating in sports, dance, music, art, nature adventures, exercise, and good old-fashioned playdates. If you feel you are lacking the skills or resources to teach your child healthy coping skills and emotional regulation, seek out support from professionals. A child psychologist or family therapist can be an invaluable resource, especially for individuals who may be experiencing conditions like depression, anxiety, OCD, to name a few. Haidt emphasizes the importance of rebuilding community bonds and fostering a sense of belonging to combat the isolation and fragmentation contributing to mental health issues. Isolation and fragmentation contributing to mental health issues refers to the negative impact that feeling disconnected and divided from others can have on an individual's psychological well-being. Here are some strategies to help combat this. We can create opportunities for families to spend quality time together, such as family game nights, group outings, or community service projects. An example might include a monthly or quarterly community service day where families come together to volunteer or complete a service project together. We can organize regular social events like potlucks, sports leagues, and cultural festivals to strengthen community bonds and foster a sense of belonging. This might look like a neighborhood block party that includes games, food, and music, encouraging residents to connect and socialize. we can encourage inclusive and healthy friendships amongst our kids. Encouraging inclusive and healthy friendships among kids and families enriches communities by strengthening social bonds, promoting diversity and empathy, enhancing community engagement, and reducing isolation. When children and families form diverse and supportive relationships, they foster a sense of belonging and mutual respect, which enhances social skills and community cohesion. These connections lead to active participation in community activities, creating robust support networks and reducing feelings of loneliness. Unified community efforts can further strengthen these bonds. Additionally, inclusive friendships provide positive role models for children, instilling values of kindness and cooperation that benefit the entire community. Next, Haidt calls for policy changes and educational reforms to address the root causes of anxiety, advocating for a balanced approach that promotes both academic excellence and emotional well-being. Suggestions include implementing a balanced curriculum. We can advocate for educational curricula that balance academic rigor with emotional and social learning, otherwise known as SEL programs. For example, integrating SEL into the school day with dedicated time for lessons on empathy, self-awareness, and interpersonal skills. Next, we can ensure that our schools have adequate mental health resources, including counselors and programs that address anxiety, stress, and trauma. This might look like hiring additional school counselors and providing mental health workshops for students and teachers. Additionally, we can advocate for flexible assessment methods, which might look like pushing for reforms in assessment methods aimed to reduce high-stakes testing pressure and incorporate diverse evaluation strategies. For example, implementing project-based assessments and oral presentations as alternatives to traditional exams, allowing students to demonstrate learning in various ways. Before we conclude, I would like to point out one area I noticed Haidt did not discuss in his research presented in The Anxious Generation. As a behavioral professional, I work closely with neurodivergent individuals, which includes people who experience autism, ADHD, dyslexia, mental health conditions, and trauma, just to name a few. Many neurodivergent conditions are significantly misunderstood and underdiagnosed. Many of us are neurodivergent and have neurodivergent kids, even if we don't know it. An important aspect to consider is that brain chemicals transmit differently in neurodivergent brains. Neurodiversity refers to the natural variations in the human brain that result in differences in how individuals think, learn, and interact with the world. These differences in brain chemistry and function are not deficits, but variations that contribute to the diversity of human experience. Neurodivergent brains process neurotransmitters, chemicals that transmit signals between nerve cells, differently. These differences can affect various aspects of behavior, cognition, and emotional regulation. For example, in individuals with ADHD, dopamine levels and transmission can be lower or function differently, affecting attention, motivation, and reward systems. For example, a person with ADHD might find it challenging to stay focused on tasks that are not immediately rewarding, due to differences in how their brain processes dopamine. In autistic individuals, serotonin levels can vary, influencing mood, social behavior, and sensory processing. For example, some autistic people might experience heightened sensitivity to sensory stimuli or have unique social interaction patterns due to differences in serotonin pathways. Given these neurochemical differences, the impact of technology use on neurodivergent individuals can differ significantly from neurotypical individuals. For those with ADHD, the constant stimulation from technology can either exacerbate difficulties with attention and impulse control, or conversely, hyperfocus them on engaging content. For example, a child with ADHD might find video games extremely engaging, leading to prolonged screen time. which can interfere with other important activities or lead to meltdowns when it is time to transition away. Autistic individuals might experience technology differently, with some finding screens and digital interactions overwhelming due to sensory sensitivities, while others might find comfort in the predictable and controllable digital environment. An autistic child might prefer structured online educational games over chaotic real-world interactions because of sensory sensitivities. Screens are often used as a tool for sensory and emotional regulation for neurodivergent individuals, and a more nuanced approach to screen time limits is often necessary. Social media and online communication can provide alternative avenues for social interaction, which can be beneficial or challenging, depending on the individual's social processing preferences and capabilities. For example, an individual with social anxiety might find it easier to interact online, where there is less pressure and more control over the interaction compared to face-to-face communication. While Haidt advocates for exposure therapy in a few different instances, it's not a one-size-fits-all approach. Understanding these differences is crucial for parents and other supportive adults to create balanced and healthy communities that are safe and inclusive for neurodivergent children as well as their neurotypical peers. In conclusion, emphasizing the importance of balance, individualized boundaries, and expectations ensures that all children, regardless of neurotype, can thrive in a technology-reliant world. Parents can band together to establish shared community values by actively engaging in open dialogues about healthy technology use, creating collective agreements on phone and social media use, and organizing community events that promote offline interactions. By fostering a supportive network, parents can share resources, strategies, and experiences, building a cohesive community that prioritizes the well-being and balanced development of all children. This collaborative approach helps reinforce positive habits and creates a unified front in navigating the challenges and opportunities presented by the digital age.